How's it going, everybody? Welcome to OP Entertainment. I'm Omar Darwish.
And I'm Pratik Cherian.
And we're here to review Nope by Jordan Peele. It's finally out. Pratik, we're going to go non-spoilers on the whole thing. What did you think?
I was leaving the theater and it's like, I'm not ready to review it because I'm not entirely sure what to think. Like, I have a general idea.
Okay.
But usually I walk out of a movie with like 90% of a fully formed opinion, and the other 10% I get on the ride over. I have maybe 50% of an opinion.
I think I'm kind of with you on that. Yeah. I'm starting to form more of an opinion like every second that goes by. But like for me, I'll say this: there's definitely moments in this movie where I'm like, oh, it's starting to get kind of good. But for the most part, this movie kind of fell flat for me. I feel like it reminds me of a movie, a very famous movie that we've all seen, I feel like. I'm not going to say what it is, but I just feel like it's kind of paint by numbers, which is not what I would expect from Jordan Peele. Like, it's flat out not a horror movie. That's not a spoiler to say.
You know, here's what I'll say about that, because this is actually what I was thinking about on my way over. It's very rare that you have a movie that's simply marketed by this director, and that's it, right? And in many ways, I would almost describe this movie as genre free. Like, there's elements of like that's three or four different genres in it without like fully going into one or the other.
That's a nice way of saying this movie didn't want to commit to any genre or commit to anything. Like,
not that it didn't want to commit to anything, but it's like I think that there's something to be said for having humor in your horror and having like thriller and elements in your action movie and having action in your comedy.
But balance, though. There's a thing about balance. And I feel like this movie went like 2% comedy, 2% horror, like here and there. Like it never committed to anything. And that kind of frustrated me because this movie has like a tonal identity crisis for me. Like this movie feels like it doesn't know what it wants to be. And I feel like I don't say that about many movies because I'm with you. I feel like movies don't have to just be pigeonholed to one thing. You can do many things with a movie. But this just felt so, I hate to say boring. For as beautifully shot as it is, especially for a lot of the scenes being at night, it was so boring. The first 2 hours, you learn nothing new.
It's a 2-hour movie.
Exactly. You learn nothing new. It's 2 hours, 17 minutes, right? You learn nothing new about these characters. I like Keke Palmer's character. I like Daniel Kaluuya's character. They're the same the entire movie. No character development. And that's fine, but like a couple, yucks here and there aren't enough for me to be like, oh man, I love these characters. I like them. They're fun. But it's like, if you're not going to put a good story around them and you're not going to give them any development, what are we doing here? There's not really a very strong message. There's subplots of this movie that kind of don't really tie into anything or go anywhere involving a monkey. They were cool. Probably some of the coolest scenes in the movie involving this monkey. Doesn't even really matter unless you want to go with like this very shallow message for the whole movie, which I don't even want to say what it is because that's kind of all this movie has to offer. So I'm not even going to like spoil it, but I don't know. Am I hating too much? Because I want to like this.
I almost feel like Jordan Peele has set a standard for himself and in a way almost pigeonholed himself into every movie he makes. We're expecting like
a deep message or something.
We're expecting this like deep consequential message. And this one was almost... this one that it doesn't have that.
Okay, but if I told you Jordan Peele, even if it was pitched as Jordan Peele is doing a Spielberg movie, which this what this is, I would have expected wonder and fun and adventure and something. Like this is just such a boring story. The whole movie is they're just trying to take pictures of this thing in the sky. That's all the movie is, and it's.
See, I disagree there because I thought that it was engaging and I thought the use of humor and horror elements and subverting expectation.
So few and far between, though.
I thought that was engaging. I thought that the first like 30 minutes were a little slow, and I thought that the back, like the last, not 30, but last like 15, 20 minutes were a little predictable. But that middle section, I was locked in. And
I guess I was never locked in. I wanted to be locked in, but I just felt like this movie wasn't... I wasn't like checking my watch, but I thought about it a couple of times. So I'm like, how much left of this movie? I kept thinking to myself, like, are we going to arrive at a point here? Because like, I don't know. I'm let down. I'm let down, to say the least.
Yeah.
This definitely ranks third for me as far as my Jordan Peele movies. because at least with like obviously Get Out is one, and I enjoyed the hell out of Us for most of the movie. It was just the end twist of Us didn't really get me, but I think I prefer Us because this movie didn't really do anything until the end. And like, if you want to say there's a big end twist, the end twist wasn't even that, like, didn't justify me sitting through this boring, sorry to say, 2 hours of a movie for me. Like,
okay, I think the big difference between this movie and Us, outside of, because I've often said the problem with Us is that the message overwhelmed the story.
Yeah, there's no message or story here. Like,
well, yeah, I think that here it's, like I said, there's no overt message that you can just sum up in one word. But I think the thing that elevates Us over this movie, in my opinion, is just that we had some world-class performances in Us, and I don't know that we got that. To your point, Keke Palmer was good. Daniel Kaluuya was good.
They're both one note, though.
I liked both of them, but I didn't think that it was quite as dynamic of a performance. I think when you look at Daniel Kaluuya's character, he's very much playing a old school,
just
like
stoic,
Western cowboy type, which I think was very intentional. And I push back just a little bit because I think towards the end of the movie, you can kind of see him taking charge. His character shows a lot more initiative.
Yeah, he's like scared and awkward at first, and I guess he has a little bit of growth but like, I mean, not really, because from day one he will do his job. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
Which all of this is like, the whole thing of the movie is not his job. So
sure, but I guess he's loyal to the ranch. I guess that's the through line of his character. That doesn't really change for me. But like, to say that like he gets a little more courage towards the end, sure, but is it courage or is it like just stupidity?
It's not courage. It's initiative, is what it is. We've never seen him as a character be.
Did he ever take charge though? No.
Yes.
I don't know if I. Agree
he did. Yeah, it's his plan. It's his plan. Like through the back half of the movie, like he goes from being in the background to fully in. Like,
I don't think it's that he could, even in the beginning, that he could never come up with a plan. It was that he needs people to help him, and that seemed to be still at the end. He didn't come up with everything on his own.
It's not that he needs people. It's more that his priorities were to your point. His priority was to the ranch and to this business, and once we get the aliens on screen, his priorities shift. And so I would agree with you as far as I don't necessarily consider that character growth per se, but I would say that his character does shift at least a little bit.
Okay, if you want to say that, sure. But like, is it safe to say that's the only character development done in this entire movie?
I think that,
and these are not hard things to do. These are not. These are things that Jordan Peele like thrives at. So I don't know. I don't understand. Like, I feel like if this was Jordan Peele's first directorial effort, Peele would been like, oh, that was pretty good, but like, you know, like nobody would be interested to see what he has next. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not like less interested to see the next Jordan Peele movie, but I'm just not. I guess I am. Yeah, I'm not as excited. I'm not as excited for the next Jordan Peele movie, and I'm not gonna believe the pitch, because this was originally pitched at CinemaCon as like an ode to Kubrick and like a horror movie, and like that feeling that horror movies give you.
So what happened was you got too into the weeds, had too high expectations, and then the movie fell short. Okay, no. Got it.
Because weeks before this movie, I had heard that it wasn't that. It was more of an adventure sci-fi movie. And like, if you want to say it's an adventure sci-fi movie, is that the genre you would put this in? No, because this movie doesn't know the genre.
But like I said before, this movie is a movie, and it's not trying like it's focused on the story that it wants to tell, and not about like getting in a certain number of jokes or a certain number of jump scares or anything like that.
Sure, but I just feel like the movie of it is the story of it isn't, at least for me, it's not compelling enough. It's not interesting enough, and if you've seen the second trailer or the final trailer or whatever, I think personally you've seen the most of the entire movie.
You've seen the sequences without any of the context.
Sure.
And again, you can't judge a movie based on its marketing. Like, that's insane.
But the context is not that important. Like,
to you, I think it makes the movie. Honestly.
Okay.
And I think that's where we disagree.
Yeah, I guess without going into spoilers, there's not much else I could say other than it was underwhelming. I'm straight out disappointed with this movie. I'm gonna say.
And I think that depends on like what kind of expectations you had going in. I thought the movie was engaging. I was interested in the story pretty much all the way through. Is it his best work? No, because I think Get Out is an absolute masterpiece. But I think this was a good to great movie.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I see. I just disagree. I just feel like this movie kind of was chasing its tail the whole time. That didn't really want to do anything and didn't really do anything. And that's kind of how I feel about it. I'm gonna watch a breakdown of this movie and it's gonna be like, but in the Bible and in this and that and these are all the things that I'm not allegorically getting.
Okay, but I honestly think that a lot of this movie was about subverting expectations, and I think. Yeah, I do. And I think that part of it was also like when you go into a Jordan Peele movie, you're expecting this like deep message that's going to be there and you're expecting to like need to do like Easter eggs and breakdowns and everything else. And I think part of that probably bled through because that is his style. In a way, I almost felt like a message bled through despite his best intentions.
I don't think that's a good enough excuse though, because I feel like going into this, even if it was pitched as an adventure sci-fi movie.
It's not an excuse, but we don't do this with any other director where we're like, it wasn't as deep as I wanted. Like when Scorsese makes his 15th gangster movie in a row, we're not like, but what was the message? It's like, no, it's Scorsese, it's gangster
we're
movie.
We're not going to bring cinema into this critique, all right? But you think if this movie was not Jordan Peele, if this was just pitched as like, we're going to try to take a picture of an alien type thing.
Sure, if it was Super 8.
Sure. Do you think like it even succeeded at that?
Yes.
But to say that would be saying that it did succeed in the genre it's trying to be, which is like adventure sci-fi, and it didn't commit to adventure sci-fi enough. It didn't commit to anything. This movie doesn't know what it is. Like
that's where we disagree.
When I think of Identity Crisis,
I don't think it needs to do that.
You don't think the movie needs to know what it is?
I don't think a movie needs to commit to a genre and just be like, all right, here's our box, and now we're going to color inside.
It doesn't have to commit to a genre. It has to commit to being something, and
I thought it was an engaging story.
Okay, see, I wanted to be engaged, but the whole movie, I felt like I was barely holding on and hoping that the end was gonna tie everything together in a way where I'm like, oh, okay, great. You know, this feels like the MCU right now. Everyone's like, well, man, I'm just hoping this is gonna tie into something because nobody knows the direction of it. That's kind of how I felt watching this. I'm like, I don't really know where this is going. I hope it's going somewhere. Oh, it's not. That's kind of where I was at the end. I was like, oh, okay, so the message, I get it. Cool. Like, I really don't think this was a well-directed movie. I don't think it was a well-written movie.
I disagree. Hold on.
The cinematography was the best part.
Yes. I mean, and I thought the cinematography was great. I thought every shot was incredibly intentional. I thought, as far as direction was concerned, I thought it really highlighted.
The director has to get the performances out of the actors. The director has to get the emotion out of the scenes. Has to build the tension.
I thought all of that stuff was stuff that was done really well.
Okay, and see, that's where I disagree.
Yeah. I thought that there were a lot of moments of tension sprinkled in a way where, like I said, that the horror elements coming out where, I just thought that there was a lot of tension that was built up, and I think that that's where the subverting expectations came in, because there were a lot of moments in this movie where the tension is built up only for what happens next not to be the thing that you think so maybe there is a bit of like that inflating deflating that happens a lot, but I thought that the use of applying tension, and when tension is applied, I thought it was applied effectively.
Okay, so in a movie like Shazam, where like there's comedy aspects, but you even say like it's tonally all over the place, gets like dark and creepy out for no reason, then you know, why is that not acceptable and this is? Why is that a tonal mess and Identity Crisis, but this isn't? I guess that's my thing. Why?
Because I don't think it ever got to the point where any of the I didn't think any of it felt out of place with any other part of this movie.
Almost every tension built thing ends with somebody going nope or something funny happening. Nothing is ever seen all the way through with this movie. It's not, maybe that's an oversimplification, but
it is.
None of the tension scenes deliver for me, except for arguably like one scene involving a monkey, and that
versus like I think to contrast with Shazam, I think with Shazam, every time there's this massive tonal shift, it just takes you out of the movie because you're like, why did you put this here? What is this for?
Okay.
I never got that.
Would you say the monkey subplot is necessary for this movie? It's necessary for what's his name, Steven Yeun's character.
Yeah,
but Steven Yeun's character is not really even necessary for this movie. They gave him such a rich like backstory and did nothing at all with his character. Disagree?
Not entirely. No. I think that Yeah, without going into spoilers, I can't necessarily disagree. I would say he's almost in this movie as a
To subvert like what
no, as like an example or a cautionary tale in a way. But
I could see
yeah.
that. I could see
Yeah.
that. For me, I felt like it was supposed to be like I felt like his character was kind of used as a red herring because like you, at least. Well, I don't want to get into what happens and what doesn't happen, but I felt like there was more to his character, and then they're just like, nope, like literally. I guess that's why they call it Nope. You thought this was gonna be a good movie? Nope.
Oh my god.
I'm just hating.
Give it your 3. No, hold on. This is you. You're gonna give it a 7.
I'm thinking 9. No, I was kidding. I mean, like I said, it's my third Jordan Peele movie. I'm
also
gonna
his
have
third movie, so you know, good.
I'm
good for you.
I'm gonna have to watch it at least one more time, but I don't see myself, unless it like drastically changes for me, I don't see myself revisiting this very often. It's too long for the amount of goodness in there. And it's too few and far between everything, I feel like. I want to say 5. I want to say 5 because like there wasn't enough in there. It just didn't reach any level for me. Like comedy-wise, didn't reach any level for me. The thriller aspects, the characters just didn't really get to that level for me. No development in the characters or the story. I liked the cinematographer character quite a lot. He was cool. That's about it. Yeah, 5.
Okay.
Give it your 10 and let's get.
No, it's an 8. For me, it's an 8. It's in my top 5 movies that I've seen this year. I feel like I've gone into it, but I thought that it was an engaging movie all the way throughout. I thought that the directing and the cinematography was great. The writing left a bit to be desired, but overall I enjoyed it, and I thought overall it's a well-made, well-crafted movie that I definitely want to see again. So yeah, no, it's an 8.
And agree to disagree.
We both agree that we want to see it again.
I want to see it again because I'm hoping. I feel like it can't be as bad as I'm like making it in my mind.
Yeah, because it is not. You were correct there.
And I guess I would say to anybody who's like interested in seeing this movie, if you haven't seen the trailers, don't watch them. Go watch the movie. Maybe you'll get more out of it.
Which is kind of my advice for every movie anyway.
Sure.
Like if you know you're going to be, once you know you want to see a movie, don't watch any more of the marketing. Watch marketing up until the point where you're sold. That is my general advice for movies overall, and I think that this is a great example of why.
Yeah, but
you're over there.
No trailer reactions from here on.
We haven't done one in a long time anyway. It's all good.
All right, you want to take us out?
Yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Tune in next week. I'm not entirely sure what we're bringing you, but we're bringing you something next week.
Yeah, we'll be here. That's all that matters. So
we'll see ya.
See you guys.